Hi, my name is Jenna Rich. I'm one of the mentors with Just Softball Foundation. A little bit about me. I'm from El Segundo, California. I grew up there. I played softball from the age of 6 through high school. I actually was one of the first students of Just Softball when Deb Hartwig opened it. So I was about 8 years old at that time. Before that, I had actually started playing in the local softball league, and I played there through middle school and then went on to play at El Segundo High School. And that's when I started getting recruited by different colleges, and I went on to play at Stanford University. Um, Position wise, I played middle infield, mostly shortstop, and then I was also a pitcher. I spent my younger years playing a lot of different sports, but really excelled at softball. So today I work from home and I work in marketing at a tech startup. And I also still have time to give back to the local community. I am a coach. Certain evenings of the week, I'm able to go down to a local park and work with some of the young girls who are playing softball in the league. So it's really great for me to be able to stay connected to that community that I was able to grow up in and feel supported by when I was a kid. And it's a really special opportunity for me to be able to work with the youth and help them feel supported on their softball journey. So I wanted to talk about one of the pillars that Just Softball Foundation has identified and wants all of you girls to be able to basically work on as you develop your softball skills. As we all know, softball is a sport that has grown in popularity over the last decade or so. Um, but it's probably not something that you're going to be able to make a living off of. Um, so, I think that there are a lot of life skills that any sport can teach you, but I think softball in particular is one of the more grueling sports that will really test you. And so I think that the 6 pillars that Just Softball Foundation has identified really set up younger girls for success once softball ends. So one of those pillars is leadership. And that was something that at a young age, I felt that I didn't have because I was not naturally a loud person. I was very timid, shy, extremely quiet. And because I was a shortstop, that tends to be one of your more vocal players. It was very confusing for me. How could I be so good at the sport and then lack this skill to basically take command of a field and to earn the respect of coaches, players, my parents? I felt that I wasn't really worthy of that respect because I didn't have a super loud voice. Um, it probably took me up until high school, maybe even college, for me to really embrace the fact that I don't have to be the loudest person on the field. I can actually lead by example. And that was something that I took and ran with. And I took a lot of pride in that because it was my chance to show that you can have all these characteristics of a leader and you don't have to shout it. But I think, more than that, I also realized there are ways to really flex those muscles that you're not used to flexing. So I did challenge myself to be more vocal when it counted. So in a game, when you're communicating or trying to bring up the morale of the team when you're getting defeated, I think that was something that I did need to work on, and it took a lot of practice. I had to step outside of my comfort zone day in, day out, but I was able to prove to myself and my teammates, my coaches, that that was something I was willing to really do for them as well as for myself. And I think that no level of talent is going to really allow you to be a leader if you're not willing to step outside of your comfort zone. And even if you're not that traditional archetype of like a loud, charismatic leader, you can still, struggle through that journey. I think another important element of the leadership characteristics is the ability to listen. And that's listening to your teammates, listening to your coaches, your parents, all those who surround you on your softball journey. who are able to give you feedback, but also just to understand where they're coming from. I think that was a role that I took on in supporting my teammates and making sure that we all felt like we had an understanding of what our roles were. And, I took that accountability to really be able to be a leader in a way that I was fostering an environment where people felt supported. And I think that's really important on any team sport, but softball, where we all know that failure is just the foundation of this sport, you need a lot of support. And so I think that ability to listen to your teammates, to listen to your coaches who have tons and tons of experience. And at many times as a player, you think, what do you know? Um, but you have to really attune yourself to what people are telling you and why, and being able to apply that so that you can become a better, more well-rounded person and player. So hopefully you took away something from that, and we can continue the conversation about some of these different characteristics of leadership and what that means for you. And my experience with it, it's something that's always going to be evolving, and it's different for everyone. There's not one single way to be a leader, and I think that's the beauty of softball, is that you can take on the role of a leader in many different ways and have a huge impact regardless.